Hello everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Empire, where we dominate the crypto market. My name is Connor, and this is another Crypto Empire live stream. It's Monday, we have a new week, we have a new Monday range forming, and we have some price action happening right now with altcoins, Bitcoin going down slightly. I want to hop right into the charts and start off going over exactly what is happening right now, so let's get into it. So just real quick, looking at the market overall, Bitcoin down to around 108,000, ETH still holding above 2,500. For the most part, nothing has really changed since yesterday's live stream other than a few of the levels that we discussed getting hit. And let's get into that. So looking at Bitcoin first of all, remember what's going on right now, guys. In terms of what's going on, we have the major one-day supply zone at the all-time high, up to $112,000. And then in yesterday's stream, we were discussing how a fresh one-day supply zone had formed right here on the 3rd of July, which was last Thursday. All right, this is from 109,600 down to 108,800. So what we were discussing yesterday was for price to come back into supply. This one, the main one for Bitcoin. But again, we always want to match that up with confluence, right? We were talking about shorting. Why? Well, we also were discussing how USDT dominance had the 23-hour level over here, right? This guy. So the idea was when USDT dominance came into this demand level, or this hidden order block, you can say, right, behind this fair value gap, that we want to look to short Bitcoin at supply. And as you can see, right, it's not really too big of a move, but it just goes to show you that this is how you can read price action consistently. You can consistently read the price action ahead of time. You can forecast. And this is how I do it, all right? And this is why I do these live streams, to show you guys in real time that it is very possible to decipher what is happening with all these different moves in the market, all right? So anyways, we are now in the situation where Bitcoin is rejecting from that supply level. However, it is still holding this bullish breakout of this trend line, right? Even on the 4-hour, if we were just going to take the 4-hour, you can see very clearly how, there was a resistance trend line. Price broke through it, it lost it, and then it broke through it again. So price is still above this previous resistance trend line. This is still in contention to go push to a new all-time high. But again, same as I was saying yesterday, I'm really not too convinced it's going to happen like right now this week. This would be huge if it was to happen this week. Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love to see it. However, the way things are looking currently, especially on alts, they basically just need a straight up green candle, which they can do. We've seen it in the past that altcoins can just straight up out of nowhere. But they're still all in bearish market structure. We'll get to altcoins in a second. Not all of them, I should say, but the majority of them. All right, so what are we expecting now on Bitcoin? Well, first thing is first. We have, let me hit this chart. We have a level here on the 15-hour. Okay. We once again have an order block hidden behind a fair value gap here on Bitcoin on the 15-hour time frame. This one from the 30th of June. This is directly at the monthly open price for Bitcoin. This is $107,000. All right, check the 15-hour on your own chart, market. Now, what are we looking for? Personally, I'm expecting the move out of this supply to hit the monthly open down here in this 15-hour level, again at 107K. How would that line up with USDT? Well, it's kind of a very similar situation where there is a level at the monthly open. It's just a new daily supply zone that formed over here on the 5th of August. And it's just a very simple rally-based drop that formed this daily supply level that I've outlined here, right? So this is going to come into play at 4.8 4.84% on USDT dominance. This is your target if you shorted Bitcoin yesterday, right? Your target is 107K, 107,100, which is the monthly open. Now let's talk about what's going to happen if we're going to go lower. What do we need to see? Let's relate this to USDT dominance, because again, this is the most important chart in my opinion. So if this is going to break down and we're going to see new all-time highs for Bitcoin, and we're going to see altcoins put in these major, strong, iron green candles, that would mean that USDT dominance is going to break down here. Okay, it's going to break this trend line support and it's going to head down. The next target is laid out for you here at 4.56%. All right, and then we're expecting continuation lower towards our macro targets, again at 3.8 and 3.3%. If we're going to have a crazy bullish week, by the way, Alex Becker calling for it as usual, guys. So this is what he tweeted yesterday. He said, next week is the start of the 2025 Super Bowl. Put on a diaper, tell your fat wife to lose weight, order 6 gallons of choco milk. It's time to lock in. This guy says, I keep hearing the same words again and again. And yes, that is because that's all this guy says again and again and again. He says the same exact thing. But if he's going to be right, because a broken clock is right, eventually, right? Eventually a broken clock is going to be right. If this is going to be the week where Becker can redeem himself and get people to totally forget that he's been wrong about most things about the crypto market 99% of the time, then we're going to see USDT dominance break down this week. This is what the bulls imperatively need. What I'm watching for are for signs of that it doesn't want to break down yet. In my opinion, the main sign that this is not ready to break down, because this is still just locally, yeah, I mean, locally, we do have these lower highs, but now we're just in this range, this choppy range, okay? So what I'm looking for basically is if price wants to accept above the previous week high, and the previous week high is right here at 4.95%. Let's add another label. There's too many labels here. But 4.95%, which is the previous week high, that was the reaction from the 12-hour level last Wednesday. But if we do see USDT dominance accept above 4.95%, well, it can get kind of ugly, guys. And in my opinion, it would be like the perfect scenario to mark the actual bottom, and then we'll actually get the altcoin season. But yeah, if we go above 4.95% and we don't immediately drop back underneath it, but if we accept above it, we can be looking at as high as 5.25% again, or maybe even 5.5 again. Okay, it's possible, but price needs to accept above the previous week high first. So as of right now, it's all lower time frame kind of choppy price action. This is why this week, that's why I made the title "This Week Decides Everything for This Summer." Because look at this USDT dominance chart. It's coming to the apex of this consolidation range, okay? It's getting very tight in this consolidation. It's either about to break down and we're going to get a crazy altcoin season. Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high. We're all going to be shouting from the rooftops, really, really hyped up, right? Or we're going to get the scenario that is probably going to happen where it accepts above 4.95% and goes and takes 5%, 5.25, or maybe even 5.5. But those are the levels. And again, the main thing would be just to watch and see if we have acceptance above. What I mean by acceptance is basically a daily closure above, and then it ends up flipping this resistance into support above 4.95%, which is the previous week high on USDT dominance. And that's really like the main thing, in my opinion, to just patiently monitor the situation, because this is like the most important chart, at least in my opinion. Okay. And again, if we're going to see that USDT dominance go back up like to 5%, 5.25%, 5.5. Well, that would open up obviously the yearly open and the 2-day demand zone down at 95K. Okay, so that is what I am looking out for, and I think that everyone can agree that we would all just love to see this break down and get a crazy market-wide pump, but we have to actually remain rational and realistic right now, because the market is not going to do what we want it to do. The market is going to do what it wants to do, which is basically punish the most amount of people possible. And being how everyone is so loudly and vocally bullish, right? Yesterday's live stream, some people in the comment section calling me out for being a bear, saying, it sounds like you're bearish, we're about to pump, like things like that. I mean, again, I'd love to be wrong, but it seems like a lot of people are on one side, the bullish side, and usually that's when they get waxed out. So, hey, we'll see, and we'll just keep an eye on the situation. Let me go ahead and see what's going on with our live chat right now, guys. Shout out to everyone here in the live stream. Smash up the like button. I appreciate all you guys. Shout out to Semi187. He says, what's up, Connor? You're the GOAT. Semi, my man, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you for your support. What's going on with you? Shout out to the Green Hornet. What up, the Green Hornet? How are you, man? We got Joey Fresh in the building. Joey Fresh, bro. Yeah, not sure what you mean, Joey Fresh. If you can elaborate, that would be great, because you don't make any sense to me, man. Hit the like button like the Green Hornet says, guys. Shout out to DD. Shout out to Eric Alexanderson. What's up? Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Guts Motors. Shout out to Green Chili Pepper. Shout out to King Louie. Shout out to Guts Motors. Again. Shout out to Kaido King. Shout out to Curtis Clay. He caught the live stream today. He's listened to many different channels over the last 2 years, and he says, I am by far the best at TA. He says, keep up the great work. My man, thank you for the support, dude. I really appreciate those kind words. Keeps me going, man. Thank you. So, love to see all you guys in the live chat right now. Shout out to Shane. Shout out to Ricky Ricardo. Ricky Ricardo says he bought the dip yesterday again and bought the top today. He just keeps stacking before the train leaves the station. My man is stacking like there's no tomorrow. So let's go into some alts. And see, the thing is, like, if you guys watched yesterday's stream, like, I'm not on the 15-minute chart, right? You guys know that if you watch my channel. I'm not taking scalps, right? So in that instance, because I like to look at the daily, the 4-hour, like middle time frame, higher time frame, nothing has really changed since yesterday, right? So we still have the same situations at play. And with that, if we look at Doge and just monitor what happened here, we have price swept the previous week high, right? Swept the previous week high, front ran the supply zone on the 4-hour, but now we see it reject back into this kind of consolidation that it's been in. Make no mistake, this level up here, like 17.5 cents, 18 cents on Doge, major resistance. Remember, this is the big pivot that I've been talking about, right? This is the big pivot level that I've been mentioning for these altcoins. Each one has their own, of course, but on Doge, this is, you know, right here around current price, right? 17 cents. The whole 17 to 18 cents area is that major pivot for Doge. It needs to get above it. As of right now, we have a rejection. I did point out yesterday how this price action does eerily look, it's not exact, but it is similar to this price action over here that happened in March into April, where we basically had the same kind of ascending pennant structure. And then we had a really big breakout to 20 cents. And then that led to the lower low. It's kind of the same. This is pretty sloppy. Let me clean this up. Oops. So we kind of have the same thing right here, where we have this ascending pennant structure. I would not be surprised at all to see a move to 20 leading to that second low. kind of a repeat of the fractal that happened over here back in March and April. Doge at 12 cents, that's the level, that is the buy level. There's a lot of people that are probably watching this stream now, or they might watch the replay in a few hours or tomorrow, whatever, and they'll hear me say Dogecoin to 12 cents. They'll probably think that never could happen. That's like a 40%, 30% drop. This is how altcoins move, guys. This is how altcoins work. They do nothing and then they move 40% in a day, okay? There's periods of very low volatility and then crazy periods of extreme volatility. So, I mean, we're talking about potentially a 16% move up followed by a 40% move down, right? After spending a lot of time just chop in this annoying range, basically, right? So this is how altcoins work. They're extremely volatile when they move. So yes, it can certainly drop 40%. 100% it can, okay? It's happened before, and it can certainly happen again. And if it does happen, and you see Dogecoin at 12, man, you guys know what to do. Back up the truck. Anyways, let's look at ETH here. So again, we're talking about ETH yesterday, saying how if price was or is to break out here, we don't necessarily want to see it come back beneath last week's Monday low. And last week's Monday low sits at $2,431, marked out here in this dotted orange line. So as you can see from right now, we have price above the weekly supply level. However, it's still in this daily supply level. Now, this is not really dropping too much, even compared to Bitcoin currently. But yeah, I mean, let's see. If Becker is going to be right here, if this is the start of it this week, price should not come back below 24.31. If it does, no worries. Right, it's less than 4%. And again, there's a daily demand zone down here at 2,290 down to 2,230 bucks. And then there's the big 4-day level behind the fair value gap coming into play at 2,060 down to around $1,960 for ETH. Okay, so if we were to see that scenario where this does end up maybe coming back into this 2-day level and then rejecting, we know the spots we want to long, we know the spots we want to buy. They're well pre-planned ahead of time. Okay, so it's not random guesswork. When it comes, we will be able to act without hesitation because it's well planned already ahead of time. Okay, so we know we want to be bullish down here on ETH. We know we want to be bullish down here on ETH. Currently, we're kind of taking a Hail Mary off of Sunday, right? And again, like I said yesterday, I really don't expect this to work, but sometimes that's when they work. So I'm perfectly fine with seeing this one play out. But yeah, that's ETH. I mean, not really too much to update here. Okay. Big 2-day supply zone up here at 2,680 to 2,780. So we need to get above that too for ETH. Let's watch and monitor that situation. We got a super chat now coming in from Bob's My Uncle. Shout out to Bob's My Uncle for the big super chat. He says, OKEG showing strength and ascending triangle. Let's take a look at OKEG for our guy Bob's My Uncle. Guys, smash up the like button. Looks like my bearishness had some people leave the stream today. Well, they can go follow Alex Becker on Twitter to get what they want to hear. If you guys want to hear the truth, well, you can stick around. Yeah, OKEG for sure is forming this ascending. It's all the way back to March, so I'd actually call this a triangle. I believe my terminology is correct. It's longer than 21 days. We call it a triangle. But it's the same thing regardless. Terminology is not important. It's just what we see on the chart. It's actually important. So this is what's happening, right? This bottomed out over here in March. By the way, it's 3.6 million market cap. And to anyone who's new here, you know, Bob's my uncle, likes to ask about this coin frequently. So if you watch the streams consistently, you already know that. But yeah, basically what's happening here on this chart, it doesn't take a genius to see that, you know, this area is supply. Technically, there is a new level that has formed here. So if you guys want to know how to get your settings, like I have them, for this tool here, the price range, I'll show you right now. So on the price range, click on your settings. You can make the background color, in this case, we're going to make it red because this is a supply zone. For the line, we can make this a neutral gray, and we can make the opacity around 30, 20%, whatever. And we want to extend it to the right. We do not want to label the background. And for the label, we turn the opacity to 0. Okay, so that's how you put the supply and demand zones on your chart with the price range tool. Little pro tip for anyone watching right now, wondering how to do it, how to change the settings, that's how. Okay. So now let's go ahead and isolate this supply area that's formed on OKEG. And yeah, I mean, price just came into supply. It's rejecting off of it right now. So Bob, I mean, this very well could end up coming back down to demand, which would match up with the trend line again below 3 mil market cap. But it's bullish, right? Higher highs or higher lows with equal highs. This is, you know, a bullish pattern, and this structure looks really good actually. So yeah, this doesn't look like the worst shitcoin chart out there by any means. It's not an endorsement to buy if you guys are watching, but that's just what I'm seeing with it. Big shout out to All Day Dre. He says they can't handle the truth, let them leave, we stick to the plan around here. That's indeed correct, sir. Shout out to Dre. All right, who else is here today? We got Rinum19. He says, good morning, Connor. I'm looking for a July pump. You're definitely not alone, Rinum. There's a lot of people looking for the July pump right now. And we got to get below our level here on USDT dominance in order to get that July pump that we all so desire, right? We have to close underneath really this trend line, right? Closing underneath this trend line would be a sign that we're going to get the July pumpage, this trend line right here, for a number that's like 4.7%. We don't have it yet. Okay, so let's hold our horses, everyone, on the bullish July. Of course, we can anticipate and predict, but that would mean that we have to cross our fingers and pray. Do you have any power in the situation as a trader or an investor if you're crossing your fingers and you're praying? Not really. Obviously, though, you do have control because you can use stop losses and you can manage your risk and position sizes if you are bullish and you're anticipating USDT dominance breaking this level right now and heading down for your coins to pump, right? That's why you manage risk, you use stop, all the basic stuff that everyone should already be familiar with, but a lot of people struggle with. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, if you're bullish July, well, you need this level to break 4.7% or it's not necessarily going to happen just yet. And yeah, big shout out to Shane. He says, oi, oi, Connor, rocking it, man. Love it. Where are you from, bro? The UK or Australia? Probably the UK if you're saying oi, oi. Bullish on parade. Nah, man, I haven't looked at that one. Give me the chalupa. What's up, brother? The real ape fader. He says, can Aerodrome finance 15x? You asked me this one yesterday, man, and I said no. And yeah, I mean, I'm still going to say no. 15x would put the market cap at, let's see, 6 billion would be a 10x. And then half of that, well, we're talking 9 billion market cap. It's not that far-fetched. It can happen. It's all based on probabilities. I would say it's a pretty low probability that you'll see Aerodrome at 9 billion. But with that being said, this coin is a winner, okay? This coin's a winner. It has one of the better charts right now in terms of, you know, a very clean, clear uptrend with the higher highs and the higher lows. So with that being said, I expect the winner to continue to win, right? Now, so we just pulled up the 2-day chart on Aerodrome, and I actually haven't seen this one yet. I'm gonna get rid of this daily demand zone. It's valid. It's there. Okay. Anyway, on the daily, you know, everyone can see this demand level. But on the 2-day, we have something even more interesting, actually. Okay. We have something even more interesting. Aerodrome on the 2-day. I would call this a hidden order block. It's just behind this fair value gap, right? You guys see it? So our golden pocket is right in there. This is coming in right at 66 cents. So this is very close to current price. 5% away. So with that, if we see USDT dominance come into our 19-hour partial level, or even hit the monthly open supply, this Aerodrome long it's valid. It's for sure valid. All right, so how would we set this up? Let's do it all live on stream so you guys can see exactly how, you know, it would be done. Okay, so we have the overall fib there. We know the golden pocket is right in there. $0.66, boys. 66 cents is it. It would look something like this. And I mean, you can target supply up here. Risk 6.5 to make potentially 35%. That's a 5.5 to 1. It doesn't look bad. Okay, there's a 2-day hidden level here at 66 cents on Aerodrome. You got to be patient and wait for that to hit. I'm open to bullish ideas. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm looking for these trades right now. That one isn't the position size would have to be modified because it's a wide stop, 6.5%. But that looks valid as far as I'm concerned with that 2-day hidden level. It's hidden right there in plain sight. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this trade work out, but We cannot accurately know ahead of time, which is why we need to manage risk and not bet the entire house on something like that. But anyways, shout out to the Ape Fader for asking me about Aerodrome to lead me to that finding. Semi 187, he says, looking at the charts, my gut says we'll just chop around in the summer and bottom somewhere in August or September. That's a very valid thing to say, Semi. I think an August low is something that is in the cards for sure. Shout out to Mr. G. What's going on, Mr. G? Give me the chalupa. He says he bought more Treb. Nice one, man. So Treb right now is sitting at 28 cents. Here on the daily time frame chart, we can see quite a retracement back down to some of these levels here. So not necessarily performing the best right now, as Arrow is also falling. However, we're at support, okay? So we'll see if this support ends up holding here below 30 cents, below 2 million market cap. And if we're going to get a crazy altcoin season, I expect this to pump very violently and hard to the upside. If it doesn't happen, if the altcoin season doesn't happen, I should say, like right now, which is what a lot of people are expecting, might just chop around all summer like the rest of the market. So we're at support, logical level to be a buyer at, right? Makes a lot more sense to be a buyer here at support than after a big pump. So that's always how it works. Somebody asked me the other week, is it the last chance? And I said, it's never the last chance. There's always another opportunity in the market. So this is a perfect example of why. Let's see, we got Glaucus SR5. He says, hey, Connor, your TA seems to be more accurate than most. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. He says, but TA can't seem to predict things like the recent Bonk breakout. How do you reconcile the fact that there is so much that affects prices? So that's an interesting question. How do I reconcile that so much affects prices? This is a global marketplace. All right. This marketplace is made up of buyers and sellers from around the world, of all different kinds of participants, from hedge funds, just machine algorithm, not even real people as buyers and sellers, large institutions to retail traders from all around the world like you and I. So you have to understand that with a public global marketplace and with very big players in the mix, there's going to be things that happen behind the scenes to move price. It's been happening since the start of the market. Go read the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, which is the story of Jesse Livermore. And they talk about how, one firm would be cornering a railroad stock and they make a ton of money, right? And then this other firm would corner this wheat stock. So this market manipulation has been happening since the dawn of markets themselves. So that's how I would reconcile with the fact that anything can happen at any given time. For example, with Bonk here, whether or not this is an organic, non-manipulated pump, by the way, I don't think it's organic, but whatever. Essentially, unless you have the insider information that it was going to happen ahead of time, well then, all you can do is react after the move already happens, right? So in that case, you just have to be okay with knowing and understanding that you're not going to catch every move. But if you have a system, this is why it's so important to do the work and not rely on anyone but yourself. But if you have a system, like with my TA, you guys are noticing that I'm looking for the same things over and over. That's a system. That will allow you to have success in the game over a long period of time. And with me, myself, I understand that I don't want to be wasting my time on anything that isn't sustainable in the long term. I think long-term sustainability, whether that's with your business, whether that's with your trading, whether that's with anything in your life, is very, very important to not just chase the quick, shiny object. So it's a game that we play here in the market, and that's how I reconcile with it. That's a great question, though, man. Short answer, by working on the man in the mirror. That's how I reconcile with it. So with Bonk, I mean, look, it left behind some massive fair value gaps. It left behind some levels. On the 3-day time frame, it left behind this. So if we're going to see a shallow retracement, you can look for scalps into here. And you have this partial over here, which also does look good if you see a retracement into this level. Get rid of this. We have a partial on the 3-day as well down here. Right at your golden pocket too, which is interesting. So for Bonk, these could be used. Bonk is really bullish, by the way, guys. I mean, again, whether this pump is manipulated or not, whatever, that's really not the important thing. But if this thing is bullish, we want to look for continuation plays, all right? We don't want to buy at supply. We want to buy at an opportune level that we set and that we wait for. And there's a few of those here. There is a few. And in terms of how far they are from the current price, wow, 20%, 25% can happen for sure. Look on the 3-day. Look at these fair value gaps. Look at the levels left behind. There's a lot here. So we'll update this, okay? Because what's happening right now is we have our Monday range. We have our Monday range forming right now. So this is going to be an interesting week, okay? And whatever we're gonna go through, we'll be live every day this week, and we'll be able to do this in real time, which is going to be great for everyone to see, especially for educational purposes. But yeah, we're looking to play the Monday range this week. So, you know, if we end up dipping below Monday's low into this 3-day level, that could be a very valid trade there. If we get a large retracement, we'll be looking lower. But yeah, we'll watch this in real time and we'll update it tomorrow. So Bonk's an interesting one of the strongest coins in the market by far right now, showing a lot of strength. However, it's in supply right now, so we want to wait, in my opinion, to long a pullback if you want to long this coin at all. But yeah, no sense to long in daily supply, guys. It makes zero sense to me. Anyways, let's look at some news right now. So in terms of what's going on with the tariff situation, they are to go into effect on the 1st of August. Okay, so that's 3 weeks away. We have some time until this becomes the pressing issue in everyone's face. All right, so 1st of August says the tariffs are going to go live. It could be some turmoil and volatility in the markets. This tweet is from Elon Musk today. Elon said today, a rage, anger face, off of the fact that they have come out and said that there is no Epstein list. So at first, Trump gets Trump gets elected as the president of the United States, and he said that they're going to release the Epstein list. Some time passed. They said, oh, we just need more time. We just need more time, guys. Give us a little more time. Then they said the Epstein list, it's on my desk. We're going to release it. It's right here on my desk, guys. All the FBI guys, Cash, and the whole gang. Oh, don't worry, guys. We got it right here. Now, as of today, apparently there is no list. Nothing to see here, guys. Nothing to see here at all. This has nothing really to do directly with crypto. It's just kind of a very interesting situation right now that anyone with some kind of spine or backbone for good to prevail cares about this issue, right? We just want to know what's up. What's the harm in just knowing the truth here, right? But yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they're saying this now, because there's a lot of people on that list, guys. Anyways, let's continue on, get back to crypto. So this is a tweet from the composite trader, which is Lars, and I just thought it was interesting. He here is basically showcasing how, I mean, he talks about his trading system, right? But I just want to point out how he highlights Luke Belmar tweeting about the Pengu coin, right? Pengu. Here's Pengu currently. But yeah, Luke Belmar tweeting about Pengu. And Lars brings up some interesting points. Okay, so he says, there has not been a single tweet of Pengu in between these two posts by Luke Belmar. So basically, Belmar posted over here on the 12th of May. Okay, and then he also posts one over here on the 30th of June. So he didn't post exactly at the top, but both times you can see price was essentially forming, this was a perfect triple drive. This is distribution. And over here, we basically have a retest to form a lower high. But both times, our boy Luke Belmar decides to just tweet out how great Pengu is when it's close to the top. So this guy Lars says, these people have connections and information that we do not have, and this is not a coincidence. And he says, I need you to wake up. And I agree. So this thing here, these people have connections and information that we do not have. This is true. However, what occurred here on Pengu is Belmar took, I don't have confirmation on this, but Belmar took money to tweet that. 100%. 100%. That's all that is, okay? You pay Belmar to tweet it. He's got millions of people, millions of kids listening to him. Everyone, guys, buy Pengu, buy Pengu. A few days later, it tops, okay? So, yes, there are cabals in play, paying people like Belmar. Belmar probably might have had some himself, shorted it, whatever. He's not stupid, right? He knows how to use the financial instruments to make money. It's a big game, and this goes to the question we had before about Bonk, but man, like Belmar, any meme coin he talks about, he got paid fat, and he's notorious for dumping every meme coin he gets. I know this from some information I've gathered over my time here in the crypto world, my connections and the likes. But if you look at whenever he tweets about a meme coin, he tweeted this like after the pump happens. He talks about Brett when it's above $1 billion, right? And by the way, Crash has basically confirmed that Belmar is a total G. And whenever he gets a coin, he just sells it immediately. So yeah, like you guys can keep on following these types of people, or you can wake up. So don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here reporting on what's happened in the past. But yeah, Belmar is not to be trusted. It's got a pencil neck. Anyways, moving on to our last piece of news on the day. So Watcher Guru, letting everyone know that MetaPlanet has bought $240 million worth of Bitcoin. And they are now holding $1.7 billion of Bitcoin. So this is pretty nuts, right? These guys are buying Bitcoin at an extreme premium price, right? Very near the all-time high. Do they think that this is going to go straight up to 500 grand per coin? They must if they're buying up here. I don't think it makes any logical sense to be a buyer up here personally. I think you will have opportunities at significantly lower prices towards the end of this year. A 30% drop is 75K from here. We haven't had much of those 30% drops like we've had in previous cycles. Times have changed big time. 50% would take us back to 53,000. And we potentially will go lower than that in the bear market. That will happen. But yeah, MetaPlanet buying 240 million at the current prices, it's wacky and it doesn't really make much sense, but I think there's a method to the madness, and it may just be to confuse retail, to be honest with you. So we'll keep an eye on that, but again, it really does not make much sense at all to be a buyer of Bitcoin up here. Unless you're going to hold it for the next 10 years, no problem. So let's take a look at some alts, guys. We got Cubic back in our 4-day demand zone. All right. So the issue right now is the fact that this demand zone has literally, as you guys say in the UK, literally, this demand zone has held up for the past 3 months or something. There's a lot of taps here, okay? Yeah, 2 months, 3 months. And as the general rule of thumb goes, whoops, I just clicked on my FaceTime by accident. We don't need to see that. But as the general rule of thumb goes, the more times a support gets tested, the weaker it gets. So we're in a situation now where this support has been tested like over 10 times. It's weak at this point. It also lost its bullish momentum, right? You can see money came in, money left. So with that, I would look out for the 1 week level, the 1 week partial, which is around 10 to 15% lower than the current market price. But another reason, right? Cubic was looking really good over here in June. It was looking really good for the breakout. Money was coming in, right? It all left now. So we have our level just lower. And there's a lot of coins that look similar, where they looked good, but they kind of lost structure. Here's Tau again, TAO. Still below the pivot at 350, guys. Like I was saying earlier, unless these things put in a nice iron green candle like this, well, it's still bearish market structure. Okay? It's still bearish market structure. So is this bottom? Did this bottom in higher time frame demand? No, it didn't. Okay? Higher time frame demand would be down here, like 250, 240. Which is why my reasoning hasn't changed on many of these alts. I think if they're going to put in a significant higher time frame reversal, they'll do it from liquidity, which is lower. Aave's been strong. However, it's still in this bearish weekly level. All right, price came above last week's Monday highs. You can see this Sunday. But as of right now, if we move into this 1 day supply above 300, there's reasons to be short up there. Right at the yearly open, a short of the yearly open. Or if ETH wants to pump, Aave's going to pump harder and it's going to straight green iron straight up there. You guys know what I'm saying. Yeah. But this isn't bad, actually. The weekly candle closed above the pretty critical level. Aave doesn't look bad. It's like ETH. It's not really dropping too much. It's holding strong. Got my alerts set on Moodang below 12 cents. Apu, I still hold Apu spot, guys, if you're wondering. I think Apu is going to hit 500 million to a billion. I think this is a good meme. Current market cap is 66.8 million. If you look at this chart, I mean, all this is, if we go to the weekly, this is accumulation. Okay, this is not distribution. This up here was distribution. This is accumulation. So just last week we had Apu drop back into really good levels below 15 cents. And let's identify this range right now. Let's see on the weekly. So let's just use this. Let's use this weekly candle as our range. I just want a 50% up here. Okay, we have our 50% now. So, in my opinion, buying Apu in this accumulation range below the 50% is going to lead to big numbers if my targets get ran. I think the targets will get ran, but at the end of the day, who knows? As you guys know, right, I bought this in April towards the lows, around a 40 mil market cap. Currently at 66. Chart looks great in terms of just being an accumulation. Whether or not it's ready to break out of this now is another story, but eventually I do see it breaking out. And if it comes again, like I said, back into the discount of the range, of the current range, that's when it makes sense to be a buyer. Someone asks, is bread a bad hold? It's definitely not the best hold. It's definitely not the best by any means. And also, thoughts on Crash as an influencer? Nothing at all compared to what he was when I first found him in 2021. He's still like the same person, but it's just different from back then, right? Very different from back then. So, yeah, I mean, hey, he's changed. He's made like $100 million from making Brett, so that's to be expected. Good for him, by the way. Don't hate the player, homie. Hate the game. Someone asked about Schema's dog. Because we're talking about base coins, we can look at that real quick. Nothing to say about this. It's down in its own respective accumulation, and I still think that this 20 million market cap level that got front ran in April is the prime buying level. Okay, so if you see this level at 20 million, just know I had this. I was expecting it in April, but it got front ran, so I think there's a good chance it takes it now, or soon, I should say. Looks like Dre is hyped for the daily lives this week, guys. Yes, sir. Smash up the like button, subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed. Let's see. We got Giorgio saying he shorted Bonk today in the daily supply. Nice one. Yeah, I think you'll likely, we already talked about the levels to look for, right? We got our 3-day level here, 5% lower, and then we got the big one, the most attractive one, like 25% lower. So you may have just shorted the top there before a nice correction. Nice one. Shout out to Giorgio's 82100. Debro Brown telling everyone smash the like button. Let's see. Any thoughts about Brian? Nah, brother. I got no thoughts on that one. I haven't even really heard of it too much. Let's see. Talk about NEOX. That was the gaming. It's a proof of work gaming coin that I covered in late 2023, and I was very transparent about how they sponsored. But anyways, because it's a gaming coin, I'm not surprised to see it in the absolute gutter. And also it's proof of work. But the thing is, all gaming coins, their inflation is insane. So yeah, is it a scam? That's up to interpretation on what your definition of that is, but is there high token inflation leading to miners being able to sell a lot? Just like with all the other gaming coins, all the pre-sale investors. What is this? Being able to sell their vested tokens from the pre-sale. It's the same type of thing, okay? So I'd say that every altcoin is a scam in that sense. But yeah, it's a gaming coin, and gaming has performed like complete trash. So that's why the chart, if we look at it, it's probably like in Goblin Town. Yeah, it is. It looks like all the other gaming charts, so that's what I have to say about that question. D. Quan says Quill is the best RR right now. You guys have been saying Quill is the best RR, the Quill guys and girls, since like last year, and it's only gone down. So I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree with the Quill bulls. The chart doesn't look horrible per se, but there's a lot of coins in this market. I just remember at 12 cents, you guys were saying it was. I can't really, like, anyone who's been bullish on any altcoin has gotten some things wrong over the past year or two. So I mean, I can't knock anyone, because I've gotten some things wrong as well over the past year or two, because I'm in altcoins, and we didn't necessarily have a a rhyme or reason, or rhyme or reason to some of our previous altcoin cycles, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's where self-awareness, I think, comes into play. But anyways, I'm not bullish on Quill. Opinion on OXO. I still think it will do well as an AI coin. It pumped when they had their call with CZ of Binance, and now it's sold off back to support. Watch for another revisit of demand. I think this would punish a lot of people that are trying to anticipate this breakout. I also know that OXO, before it pumps, it always sweeps its lows. That's just how the market makers work on this coin. So if it's going to come and sweep its lows again, watch for the triple tap of this trend line. And that can mark a very nice, attractive bottom. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you all being here. We know what we're looking for, okay? We know what we're looking for right now. If you're bullish, you got to see USDT dominance break underneath your support trend line, which again is around that 4.7% level, if I recall correctly off the top of my head. As of right now, we have the market reacting in a way that we discussed yesterday, okay? So we were ahead of this one, and we're going to continue to be here and bring it. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, you know what to do. Smash the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, smash that subscribe button. And of course, turn on all bell notifications so you don't miss any future videos. I appreciate you all being here. Stay blessed and God bless. Connor from Crypto Empire signing out. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.